Hey, 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 I'm T-Dub, and what we're looking at together is a magic traffic signal. Why is it a magic traffic signal? Well, in a few minutes, you'll find out how this magic traffic signal can win virtually any man's total devotion, and not only just commitment, but enthusiastic commitment to you and your future together. Whether you're still looking for Mr. Right, or maybe you found Mr. Right, but he's kicking and screaming along the path to becoming Mr. and Mrs. Right. When you watch this short presentation in the end, we're going to talk about the shortest path to a man's heart and the fastest way to get him to pop the question without manipulation, and definitely without ever having to be pushy or sacrifice your sense of identity trying to be somebody you're not just in order to please him. Watch this short video until the end and you'll discover the 3 supposedly good pieces of advice you absolutely must avoid to go from hello to I do, even when he says confusing stuff like I'm not free. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You may think, T-Dub, I've seen it and heard it all when it comes to advice on men and how they think. Yet I can guarantee you that you've never understood or seen inside a man as deeply or clearly as you're about to as I share these little known secrets about men with you. This is entirely different. It's nothing like the popular books on men you may have seen or even tried. So I'll bet you dollars to donuts you'll be shocked by what I reveal to you today. And please remember, what I'm sharing will finally allow you to start planning your life and your family without having to push him when he says things like, honey, I love you, but I'm not ready. And you'll get some of my best insights and secrets to make sure you get a sparkling ring on your finger so you can go out and proudly show it off to all your family and friends. First, I need to tell you a story. It's a story that's hard for me to tell because I get choked up. Yet, it's one I think you absolutely need to hear because it will reveal more about how you can avoid wasting years of your life by being able to accurately read what's going on in a man's mind more than anything else that I know. We got a deal? Now, I wasn't always a relationship expert, appearing on radio, thousands of websites and blogs, helping 65,000 plus people in over 77 countries with their toughest relationship troubles. And I certainly never imagined I'd be a best-selling author on the topic of fixing a relationship after someone had called it quits like I am today. In fact, far, far from it. I remember the day when I decided enough was enough, and I'm going to share this story with you now, even though it's really embarrassing for me to tell. You need to know just how deep in the rabbit hole I went before I discovered the stuff I'm going to share with you today. The strategy that allows me to live this amazing life that I live right now and help so many others find and keep love in their life. I remember the day so clearly. I remember I drove up the I-5 north from San Diego. It was a sunny Sunday afternoon in October. And I remember the sunshine because it was the exact opposite of how I was feeling. And in a few moments, I was going to absolutely devastate the woman I loved. I remember the warm, prickly rays of sun dancing on my arm while inside my soul cried over what I felt I absolutely had to do. 5 miles to go before I reach my girlfriend's exit. Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana starts playing on the radio. Oh, geez, I think. Why this song? The steel knife in my windpipe twists as Kurt sings the first line. I had to change stations. I can't take it. I fiddle back and forth with the knob. Doesn't matter what's playing. Music that day stung like a spritz of antiseptic on a freshly opened cut. I punch the power button, turn the radio off. For the first time in years, I've driven without the radio. Now, all I hear is my own breathing, the whoosh whoosh sound of blood pulsing in my ears. 2 miles to go. My heart pounds faster. How hard will she take it? She'll want to know why. Why? Here's her exit. Palms sweaty, my hands slip a little bit as I turn off the freeway. The traffic light's red. There's a relief for a few more seconds of peace before the storm. As the light turns green, I proceed. I can see my girlfriend's tan 6-story apartment building. There's less than a half a block now. I can't turn back now. I cannot turn back now, I repeat. I've been unfair to her and unfair to me for far too long already. I pull in. I park and I sit there with the engine off. It's deadly silent. If digital clocks could make noise, I'd hear it tick. 2:37 p.m. Now, I remember that time exactly because I sat there so long staring at those glowing green numbers, they felt etched into my eyes and head. As I open the car door to get out, I go numb. Not the pass out numb. It's a familiar numb that I feel when I have to do something really hard or when an emergency strikes. I shut the door and start walking to the elevator. I'm moving on autopilot now. I sense everything, every small detail, but I move almost as if I'm being controlled like a puppet on a string. I nudge the button for the elevator. Swish, as the doors glide open, that smell of a spicy Chinese takeout invade my nose. I suppose that someone just ordered lunch. I push the button for the 5th floor as I had hundreds of times before. This time was massively different, though. As I'm running over my mind what I'm going to say and do one last time, ding goes the bell. I'm here. I walk over to her door. I've got the keys and I usually let myself in, but given about what's going to happen, it doesn't feel right, like the right thing to do today. My knuckles make a rap, rap, rap as they hit the solid wood door. My numbness clears like a morning fog, and I can again feel that cold steel blade of anguish just twist in my throat again. She opens, and then it happened, and then I did it. After almost 4 years of being with Jessica, after 4 years of her patiently waiting on me to be ready to go to the next level in our relationship, I end it. As embarrassing as it is for me to tell you how I let down a woman who waited on me for 4 years, it gets worse. You see, about 2 weeks before I broke up with Jessica, I made the decision to move from San Diego to Arkansas to be with my family. I had stayed in San Diego after I got out of the Navy, but all of my family lived down south. As I was ending it with Jessica, my bags were already packed to leave. I was set to start driving the very next day. I started the breakup by telling Jessica I had made a decision to move to Arkansas. That was a bad move. She thought at first I was asking her to come with me, which made it even harder when I said, "No, Jess, I'm sorry, I'm breaking up with you." Her face puckered like I'd punched her in the stomach with a billy club. It was very sad. It was sad for Jess. It was sad for me. Even Jessica's black kitty, Penny, seemed upset, almost like she knew what was going on. And I did cry when I said goodbye to Jessica, and I remember my tears wetting Penny's black fur as I bent over and scratched her under the chin. It was going to be the last time. After I left Jessica's apartment, I remember feeling so disappointed and totally ashamed with myself. I was angry at how I let it end this way and how it handled all the last few years. I was really confused, too. I was confused because I could never explain to myself, let alone Jessica, why I could love her but not want to marry her. How could I love her so much and not want to marry her?